This is Dr. Mike Prince as we continue our volleyball tour of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We've been joined now by the head man in charge of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions, Coach Dustin Sahlman. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well, Dr. Prince. How are you?
I'm wonderful, sir, and excited to have this opportunity to speak with you, introduce you to our audience, and get more in-depth as we continue our volleyball tour, which will be featured in the fall, talking about volleyball exclusively in the fall season. Now, you're kind of one of those rare air, if you will. You're one of the male coaches in a pretty much female-dominated sport. And introduce us to who Dustin Sahlman is and how you ended up at Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Erie, Pennsylvania. So up in the upper Midwest, Northeast part of the country, boys/guys volleyball is pretty popular thing. So I grew up playing the sport. I came down to Arkansas, was at the University of Arkansas when Chris Poole started the program up at Fayetteville. And so, I got involved, pretty early in my career in, the coaching aspect of things and, what it takes to build a program from scratch. And so, I always had that kind of in the back of my mind. And then, once my playing days were over, I wanted to give back like so many other coaches do. And so that's what brought me into the coaching realm. I got married, moved to Central Arkansas, the Little Rock area in 1996. And so been here ever since. I was the head coach at Philander Smith College for 2 years. Then I got my opportunity to be an assistant coach at the Division I level, went down to the University of New Orleans for a year, then got offered the same role, assistant coach recruiting coordinator at Louisiana Tech University. I was there for about a little over a year, and then the call to come home and be a dad and put my career on hold was too strong. My daughter was getting ready to be a senior in high school, and I'd been gone for 2 years down in Louisiana. So I came back home, and out of the blue, I'd get a call from the administration here at Arkansas Pine Bluff and ask if I wanted to come interview to be their next head coach, and I jumped at the opportunity.
Wow. Isn't it amazing the power that daughters have over dads?
Yes, sir, it is.
I have two daughters myself as well as two sons, so I know them daughters can get more out of Pop than what them sons can get out of Pop. So very well. Sure. Now, with you having a background in actually playing, and before I go any further, you from Erie, Pennsylvania, you've got to be a Steelers fan, right?
That's a funny story in itself. I'm actually not a Steelers fan. I'm actually a Cowboys fan.
Well, I might have to terminate this conversation, sir. I'm from St. Louis, but I'm a big Steelers fan. My first football game that I was allowed to witness in person, my pop took me to watch the St. Louis Cardinals football team at the time, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I've been a Steelers fan ever since. But
my first NFL game, I lived in Corsicana, Texas for 4 years while we were growing up, and my first NFL game was the Cowboys versus the St. Louis Cardinals at the old Texas Stadium.
Wow, how ironic is that? And one got led one way and the other one got led the right way, huh?
And, all my friends in school, being from where I'm from, we're an hour and a half from Cleveland, an hour and a half from Buffalo, and an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. I had all my friends were all three of those fans. So
wow, that is unique. We're talking right now with Dustin Sahlman, who is the head volleyball coach for the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Now, you stated in your introduction, of course, you played volleyball, which is very popular in the Midwest and in the neck of the woods where you're from the men's perspective. And it's crazy that when you go out west, it is huge women's volleyball dominance. And so with you transitioning, what was the greatest challenge for you to transition from dealing with with men versus dealing with women?
That's a really good question. I think the biggest thing for us, coming into that, that avenue of, dealing with a completely different gender is making sure that you know how to relate with them on an outside the gym level, as well as being able to push the right buttons to get out of them what you need to get out of them without them shutting down on you. And that's something that, when you recruit these athletes, you've got to make sure you do your due diligence and make sure that, you're recruiting the right type of athletes that can come in and play and train under, your type of gym management. So that's been the biggest thing for me, is being able to make sure that I get the right type of girls that can come in and handle the way that I coach.
I got you 100%. That's one of the reasons why I put down coaching and picked up the microphone. I do understand. It is a very unique, and if we be very contrite and honest, a delicate stage to be in, whether you're coaching women or men. Today's athlete, a very unique athlete, a unique breed of creature. I'm in my 50s. I'm 50 years old. There were things that coaches could say that would not even bat an eye at when I was coming up, which now could not only have you out of job, but possibly facing criminal charges.
It's absolutely crazy. And, we hear, being involved in the, in the educational, realm or, university realm, high school realm, whatever, you hear all these people complain about how hard it is to find student athletes that are disciplined or able to be disciplined so that, they can do what they need to do. And it's just today's student is not the same as it, like you said, as it was back when we were growing up.
So in essence, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, you love what you're doing or you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, but it's not without its challenges dealing with the persona of today's ball player, to the actuality versus perception, because a lot of people think they're greater than what they actually are, and we know that the parents think that their child and whoever else makes up the team should be in that rotation. So how do you balance that? I set expectations early. When we come in preseason, I'm very, very honest and upfront with them, tell them what I expect. And one thing that I learned, very early on in my coaching is we stat every gym session so that we have numbers to back up everything that we do. Because at the end of the day, you can have a small sample size or a large sample size. The numbers aren't going to lie. So if you can get the job, if the numbers show that you can get the job done, then you've earned your time. And if the numbers show that you can't, then you can't, and you got to get better. Sounds like accountability and responsibility to me.
For sure, 100%.
I'm speaking with Coach Dustin Sahlman, who is the head volleyball coach for the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. Finished 9-9 in the conference last year, which was good enough for fifth overall throughout the conference, 9-17 overall. Coach, when you go back and you look over your schedules and your planning schedules, who are some of your non-conference games to be with? And when you get done with that, how are you embracing the new Sunday-Monday format for conference play?
So non-conference wise, I've tried to stay, pretty regional, just to help us with travel and everything. But I actually I actually got it to work out to where we're actually going to go on two pretty big trips. One the opening weekend and one the final weekend before conference play starts. So we're going to University of Southern Florida. We're gonna get to see them and LSU and Northwestern from the Big Ten. The second weekend, we're going to Southeast Missouri State. We're going to see them, University of Evansville and Morgan State, from the MEAC. And then third weekend, we're going down to my old school, Louisiana Tech. We're going to see them, Sam Houston State out of the Southland Conference, and University of Memphis out of the American Athletic Conference. And then the fourth weekend, we're going out to Greeley, Colorado to face Northern Colorado Air Force Academy. And our final competitor out there will be the University of South Dakota.
Man, that is a very, very impressive schedule, and that's going to be some good measuring means for you as you prepare for conference play.
It will. It's going to, we're going to get to see, like I said, SEC, Big Ten, American Athletic, some of those conferences that have some pretty strong programs, and it's going to allow us to see, a different style, a different level, a different speed of game. So I'm hoping that will prepare us and make us hungry, coming into conference play. But, I was pretty careful. I was pretty careful when I was setting that stuff up. With regards to conference play, the Sunday, Monday thing doesn't really bother me a whole lot. It's every conference does things a little bit different. And so, I've been on the side of a Thursday, Saturday play or a Friday, Sunday play. Last year we did Friday, Saturday, which, I thought worked out really well. This year, we're going to Sunday, Monday, and I think it'll be good because of what it'll allow us to do, is give our kids, an off day during the middle of the week when they've got classes and stuff so that they can, focus a little more on academics.
Very good. We're talking with Coach Dustin Sahlman, head volleyball coach at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. He is one of two males that lead the teams here in the Southwest Athletic Conference. And how is that been for you, being a minority within this club, if you allow me to say it? I can't say sorority, but within this club.
Right. No, it's good. I feel like I've got a pretty good relationship with almost every coach in our conference. I knew Coach Demetria at Grambling before, when I was at Louisiana Tech in New Orleans, because I'd seen them, when we were there. I know Coach Penny from Alabama State. I've known her for quite some time, just, throughout the volleyball world. And, like I said, some of the others since I've been in the conference, feel like I've, got a pretty good relationship with them as well. Vanessa Jacobs, I've known her for, I guess this will be year 5 or 6 now, from my time, being down in South Louisiana. So, I feel like I fit in. I know, we all do things a little bit differently. So I think that adds, a little more flavor to the conference. But Coach Hunter and I, we know we have to have each other's back because we're outnumbered.
I was going to say, you better build some allies with Valley real quick, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, and with that being said, we talk about the different styles and the approaches. And let's be honest, we're the same, but we're different, especially how we see things and view things. What are some of the things that you look for as far as building your program at Pine Bluff?
As far as what I'm looking for with regards to athletes is I want to have young ladies in my program that I feel like could compete on a national type level. I don't want to recruit just young ladies that'll help us just win the conference. I want to recruit young ladies that will help us win those non-conference matches too, because that'll just make the conference stronger. I want people that are coachable, that are willing to change and adapt. Because like we said, everybody does things different, and I don't want somebody coming in here and saying, well, that's not how we did it in high school, or, that's not how my club coach did it, whatever. Well, you're not there anymore. So A lot of open-mindedness. And, I also like to recruit young ladies that are academically inclined as well, because I feel like that just helps. At the end of the day, we're all teachers. We're trying to teach our sport. We're trying to teach how we want our systems to work so that things go smoothly when we're playing matches. And so, I want smart academic people that can learn and pick up things quickly.
Very good, very good. We're talking with Dustin Sahlman, head volleyball coach, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions, or should I say the Lady Golden Lions, on our SWAC volleyball tour. Now, Coach, you're sitting in, you got the table set. I got to ask you two questions, and I got to be fair. I've been asking everybody else this, so I can't let you off the hook that way. And
okay.
I think I need to ask you a third question since you're a Cowboy fan, but I won't digress. No, but we talk about the style of player that is going to be naturally gravitating toward the mid-major conferences, such as the Southwest Athletic Conference, the MEAC Conference. And on a scale of 5, with 5 being the premier ball player, student athlete, 9 times out of 10, this conference will get that 1 to 3 star ball player. Now, with that being said, how important is it that you have a system versus getting that premier ball player?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think honestly, it's really important, and you hear coaches talk all the time about culture. I think that even over a system, having that strong culture where everybody buys in and they know what is expected of them, every day. I think that's really important to building, successful teams. But as far as systems go, that makes it, you can have, and that's where we need to be adaptable as well. You can have, a system that how you want things done. You can have that plan in place, but if you don't get the players that can handle that system, then we've got to adapt as coaches. But having a tried and true things that will work, it's very important, just so that you can build that positive culture within the gym.
Absolutely. That you got to have your core before you start to try to add the bells and the whistles. But you got to have that core
Absolutely.
Foundation of what's going to be our identity, if you will.
You have to.
Okay, very, very well stated, sir. Here's your next question. I guess this is more of a wish list. I am going to give you $2 million for your volleyball program only. How do you spend that money?
Wow. If only this was real life.
Well, pinch yourself, because this is a hypothetical question.
For sure. Well, yeah, man, that would be a dream come true. The first thing that I would do with the situation that I have here is I would take probably a quarter of that money, maybe half, and go renovate our old gym that's across the street that doesn't really get used for anything but ROTC, and have my own facility. I don't have to share my practice time with new student orientation, academic convocations. I would have a place where I could go practice and not get interrupted. Okay.
You got another $500,000 left. What you gonna do next?
Probably use the rest of it to I'll split it up. Part A of the rest of that money would get me fully funded, so I have 12 full scholarships. Part B would be make myself a recruiting budget, and Part C would be to have myself a full-time assistant coach.
A full-time assistant coach. Very well spent. But I'm gonna give you A-
All right.
And the reason I give you an A-, facilities is always on the A list. That's going to always be on the A list. But what I have discovered that fits just as well as that facilities is nutrition.
Yeah.
Nutrition. And how important is a nutritionist in the overall scheme of having a successful program?
You know what? That's a tough question, because even if we have that person within our payroll, even if he or she is within the entire scope of all our athletic programs, football, basketball, track, softball, baseball, the whole 9 yards, golf, tennis. If we don't have the ability to give our student athletes the intake that they need to follow the plan that the nutritionist has laid out, it's not going to do any good.
Point well taken, which is why I say we know facilities is the big piece. That's the huge piece that goes a little bit beyond our control.
Right.
However, I have an immediate impact on what my student athletes are taking in. I've put pen to paper. We're still doing research on it, but I just want to run this by my Division I coaches so they can at least see where we're trying to go with this.
Sure.
You have roughly about 400 student athletes on the SWAC Division I athletic program roster.
Yep.
Okay? If you put the pen to paper, if you put aside $1 million to factor in for that nutritionist, to factor in the meal plans, which means there's going to have to be a whole buy-in, and not just the athletic department, but whoever provides the meals through your cafeteria. They're going to have to be able to buy in providing special diets for these student athletes. Why?
Right.
Because they are student athletes. They shouldn't be eating the same thing that everybody else is eating. Number two, the fact that you're dealing with HBCUs in this particular conference, you develop new eating habits, which can then determine and hopefully, quote unquote, here comes that buzzword again, change the culture of future families. So when your playing days are over, I now have developed not only a sense of leadership from my involvement in athletics, but a sense of health consciousness, which can help me and extend my family and my lifespan.
Yes, that would be huge.
So I hope that makes sense, and I know that we're front lobe global thinking people. That if I get the facilities, you can have the facilities, but if they're not conditioned and trained properly, if they're not properly fortified for their bodies for the competition, then all you got is a pretty place, and you're still getting kicked around the fields.
That's true.
Just something to think about.
True. Oh, it is. It is.
So my question is shouldn't that be part of factoring in the overall success of athletic programs?
It definitely should. I just, getting, again, and you already mentioned this, getting the food supplier to be willing, even if you flashed $600,000 in their face, are they going to be willing to go out of the way to change how they are providing for the entire student body, or separating it out and allowing athletics to be separate from student body population? I don't know if that is an actual feasible plan or not.
Well, and like I said, it's all hypothetical, but it's something that could easily be handled, which then you can lead towards getting that facility to help improve the journey, if you will. And I just think, just one of those deals, as you think, I was a former baseball player in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and I'm in my 50s right now. So you think about all these things that led you to where you are. and it will always go back to your competing days. There are things that you're telling your student athletes right now that you heard when you were competing. So
that's 100% for sure.
Right, and it's one of those things that you can help slowly change. We talk about changing that culture. You can slowly change the culture of who and what we have. We're talking with Coach Dustin Sahlman. I know he didn't think he was going to get into all this nutritional factor, but we are talking about the athletic program and the volleyball program in particular of University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, the Lady Golden Lions. Coach, how do you forecast this upcoming season for the Golden Lions?
Another one of those loaded questions.
I ask good questions, though, right?
You do ask great questions. That's for sure. You know, we all want to see steady progress. You know, we made a small jump last season with the overall, you know, end result record, and you know that's what I'm shooting for again. If we can figure out how to win some of the close matches instead of lose some of the close matches, you know, I'd like to see a 500 or, you know, a plus 500 total record from wins and losses for the whole season, and then, you know, I'd like to be in that top, you know, in that top 2 or 3 as far as the conference schedule goes.
Well, those are some great expectations, and you're definitely headed in the right direction. Before we let you go, Coach, you got any players that you're going to be expecting a little increase from last year, and some that are coming to the program that's going to help make an impact?
Sure. You know, so we had one of our middle blockers was in I think probably the top 5 in the conference in blocks per set. You know, she got stronger in the weight room this year, so I'm hoping that's going to lead to, you know, a little bit better, you know, production from her, you know, at the net, blocking and hitting both. One of my outside hitters, freshman, she was in the top 10 in the conference in kills per set and hitting percentage. Gonna see some improved production from her. Our setter, I think I mean, she was a true freshman. We run a 5-1, so, you know, she was on the floor as a true freshman, you know, running the show, and having that freshman experience, I think will lead her to do a little bit better job of, you know, managing the team on the floor and improving our offense. And then, you know, I've got a couple of young ladies that are going to come in as freshmen that I expect to do some good things. I've got a new libero coming in, and then a left-handed right side, which, you know, having those lefties is an anomaly because there's not a whole lot of them. So I'm hoping that she will help us create some mismatch problems.
Well, you know, that reverse spin coming from that lefty is going to be something to get adjusted to if people are not accustomed to seeing it on a regular basis.
That's for sure. That is for sure.
We're talking with Coach Dustin Sahlman of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Lady Golden Lions, part of our SWAC volleyball tour. We'll be having full dedicated radio volleyball program starting this fall. We'll have coaches with their wrap-ups of their prior matches leading up to the upcoming events. We'll have Player of the Week interviews, and we'll have a whole lot more in store for you right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Coach, is there anything that you'd like to share as we get ready to shut down this segment?
You know, one thing that all of us coaches want to see is, you know, people in the stands. So, you know, what I would like to throw out there is, you know, no matter where you are, even if you're not even within our conference, but if you're within short driving distance of our conference schools and there's matches going on, whether we're home or visiting team, we always like seeing people in the stands. The game is a fun game to watch, and we feel like, you know, there's a lot of excitement that goes on within our matches. And so, you know, come out, support all of our programs, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall.
Very well stated, sir. Coach Dustin Sahlman head volleyball coach of University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. Be ready to hit the court for the 2017 campaign. I am Dr. Mike Prince, the radio guy. It's always a joy and a pleasure to bring these interviews to you. Until the next time, be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.